Guys, I know this video is all over the place, but please bear with me because all we're going to be doing is talking about Twilight. Cheers! Why he left her in the first place, if he didn't, that's the one thing that doesn't make sense to me, but whatever. Before the video starts, I want to give a moment of silence for Black Lives Matter. I'm trying to do this in every single one of my videos, so I think the issues that we are having right now are really important and not so great, so I do want to give that moment of silence, so here we go. Hey guys, what's up? My name's Ashton. How you doing? Let me know in the comments below. Let's get into the freaking video. Okay, so today is the second video in my Twilight series, Countdown to Midnight Sun. We are going to be talking about this book right here, New Moon. I have more notes on this than I did for the Twilight book, so put your seatbelts on. This is going to be a good one. I'm going to try and get better with the videos as I go on because I realized that I do a really bad job at explaining things when I filmed the first video and edited it, so hopefully I get better at it this go around. Today's snack is Little Bite muffins because in the movie the werewolves eat the muffins. This is after Bella finds out that Jacob is a werewolf, so that was today's choice of snack. Very sweet. The wine that represents blood. In the movie, both start with Bella having a dream, and basically she thinks her grandma is in the meadow, and then she tries to introduce Edward to her, but then she realizes it's just a reflection of herself, and she's like really old, and obviously Edward doesn't age, and it's her birthday, and he's like, happy birthday, whatever. So that kind of freaks her out in the beginning, and then she's very adamant about not having this party for her birthday. She doesn't want to make a big deal about it because she isn't really into the whole getting old thing because of Edward, and she doesn't want to age. She's not into aging. She doesn't want to celebrate aging because she just wants Edward to change her into a vampire so that she doesn't age. At this point, Edward has talked about getting himself killed by the Volturi if anything happens to Bella. And also another reason why he doesn't want to change Bella is because he feels like him and his family and all vampires don't have souls, so he doesn't want to take away Bella's soul. Well, Alice decides to throw a surprise party for Bella, and that's where it hits the fan. Everybody's giving her presents and whatnot, and she's opening one and she gets a paper cut. And Jasper is Edward's brother, and he is newly vegetarian, meaning he used to heavily rely on eating human blood, but now since he's with Carlisle and Edward's family, he is trying to change and eat animal blood, but he's new to it, so he freaks out around blood. And I think you guys can see where this is going. Jasper tries to attack Bella because of the blood. Edward kind of just makes it worse by throwing her against the whatever. In the movie, it's just like a little table and there's a bunch of glass, and so she cuts herself, and then there's more blood, and it just makes everything worse. When really all he should have done is just like set her to the side, but they had to make it dramatic. Whatever. That night, that's when Edward starts acting weird because he kisses Bella. Well, Bella asks him to kiss her, and the feeling of that kiss is like he is saying goodbye, is kind of how they explain it in the book. For a couple of days in the book, he starts acting weird, but in the movie, it's just one day, and then the next day, he's like, peace out. Edward takes Bella to the woods after a couple of days of acting strange. He tells her he doesn't love her anymore, and he doesn't want her, and he wants to make it like he never existed in her life. So that's fun and exciting. And she chases after him in the woods and gets lost. Now, the only reason why he did this is because He doesn't want anything else bad to happen to Bella because of him. He thinks because of himself being in her life, all this bad stuff is happening, aka James, aka Jasper, aka Victoria, just a whole bunch of other stuff. So he feels guilty for bringing this upon her life. So he thinks he can just peace out and everything will go back to normal. Little does he know. So he leaves, all the Cullens leave, and he makes it to where he basically never existed into her life. Although one of the most famous quotes from that book is that the pain, well, I don't know what the quote exactly is, but it's about how the pain is a reminder that they were all real. But she gets super, super, super depressed, like to the point where she's having nightmares and she wakes up screaming, and then Charlie has to check up on her. And then she's out on a movie date with Jessica, one of her friends. In the book, Jessica isn't really one of her friends, but in the movie, she is. Snack break. So she's on this movie date with Jessica, and she sees these guys, like a motorcycle gang, and went in the movie. In the book, I think it's just a group of guys at a bar. She hears Edward in her head when she's trying to like walk towards these people, because she promised him that he told her to promise him that she wouldn't do anything reckless. Which, I mean, why would you keep a promise if somebody left you? I don't know. She's starting to hear his voice at this point, which is like low-key kind of cray. Her and Jacob get really close at this point. He kind of heals her in a way. In the book, they describe it as he fills the hole. I mean, she feels like the hole is still there, but he helps her heal better. I don't know. He falls in love with her, but she just wants to be friends, but she also doesn't want him to give up because he's helping her heal herself, heal the hole or whatever. So she's kind of being really selfish, but I don't know how to feel about it. Her, Jacob, and Mike go out on this date. While they were on the date, he promises to her that he will never hurt her like Edward did. And Jacob starts acting weird, and then her and Jacob can't hang out anymore because he has mono. And basically, she gets really depressed again, and she tries to find Jacob, and then she finds him, and then he breaks his promise and hurts her because he's like, I don't want you here, you need to go away and never come back. And then that night he comes to her house and apologizes because he can't tell her anything because he's a werewolf and you have to obey Alpha's orders. So he wants her to figure it out, and she finds out he's a werewolf because one of the pack members tries to attack her, and Jacob's like, no, no, no. Then we find out that Victoria is hunting Bella at this point, and so then Jacob's telling Bella this, and she finds out that there's a red-headed vampire that keeps coming back into town even though they keep running her off, and Bella's like, oh, I know who that is, and she's after me. So then everything Jacob does is to protect Bella. There was some point in the book and in the movie where Bella saw some of the pack members, which she didn't know they were werewolves at the time, cliff diving. And so she decides to do that herself because now she's an adrenaline junkie and she wants to hear Edward's voice again. So she jumps off a cliff and almost dies. But Jacob pulls her out and saves her. They're out chasing Victoria, and Victoria jumps off the cliff, and then Bella jumps off the cliff, and then Bella almost dies. Not by Victoria, just by the water and the waves and all that. And then Jacob's giving her CPR, and she's back to life. Meanwhile, the police are hunting the wolves. I think it's Jacob's uncle. It's one of Jacob's family members, or something like that. It's Bella's dad's best friend. He has a heart attack and dies. This is important because at this point, Bella has almost died and somebody else has died. So, somebody close to Charlie, Bella's dad. Now, Jacob is driving Bella home and they're talking and whatnot. And then Bella goes to get out of the truck and he pulls that freaking door shut. He goes, there's a vampire, I can smell it. Which I don't know why he couldn't have smelled it 5 seconds ago. Maybe because he was too distracted over Bella. I don't freaking know. Bella sees Carlisle's car. She rushes into the house Jacob tries to stop her and says that he can't protect her because it's not part of the treaty, so he can't cross the line and protect her. She doesn't care. She goes inside and Alice is there. Whoop-de-doo. So Alice can see the future. Bella's freaking the fuck out because she doesn't know why Alice is there. Well, Alice decided it would be a great idea to tell Rosalie why she came back to Forks. She shouldn't have said that in first. She shouldn't have said anything. She should have just left, in my opinion. But then there wouldn't be a movie. So they're talking. Alice is like, what are you thinking? You tried to kill yourself. Bella's like, I wasn't trying to kill myself. I was cliff diving. But then they start like sitting down on the couch and talking and catching up and whatnot. And this is the movie. It's a couple of days in the book, but in the movie it's just one night. And Alice stays the night at Bella's house for a couple of days. Anyway, basically, Alice didn't see Bella get pulled out of the water because she can't see werewolves. And Jacob's a werewolf. So all Alice saw was Bella jump into the water and not come out. So she thought Bella was dead, which is why she came to Forks to see if Charlie was okay. So then she smells Bella and is wondering why she smells like wet dog. And then Bella says it's Jacob, and then Jacob walks in, and then she's like, I thought you couldn't protect me here, and he's like, guess I don't care. Alice leaves because she doesn't want to get in the middle of whatever the hell's going on with Jacob and Bella, so she said she's going to come back once you put the dog out. Jacob and Bella are talking, and they get this close to kissing. That close to kissing. And then the phone rings, and it's Edward, but Bella doesn't know that. So Edward's asking for Charlie, and Jacob thought it would be a bright idea to tell him that he was planning a funeral. And in the movie, you see a clip of Edward breaking his phone, and he looks like absolute. Edward thinks that Charlie is planning a funeral for Bella. He knows nothing of Charlie's friend having a heart attack and dying. Jacob has made it seem like Charlie is planning a funeral for Bella. So Edward thinks Bella's dead. So he wants to go kill himself because he doesn't want to live in a world where Bella doesn't exist. Alice sees it, walks into the house, and like in her head, like as a future thing, like she sees Edward trying to get himself killed or whatnot. Bella finds out that it was Edward on the phone, and she gets really pissed off at Jacob, and then she leaves with Alice. And Jacob begs her like, so much to stay, but she says, peace out, I'm going to save the boyfriend that left me. Edward's going to the Volturi to see if they'll kill him, but they won't because he can read minds. That's too much of a special talent for them to kill. So then he plans of a way that's justified. So if you show yourself to the humans, you die. Because they want their secret to be safe, even though Bella knows. Anyway, there's a parade going on in Italy where Edward is celebrating the expulsion of vampires in Volterra, which is where the Volturi live. They're all wearing red. So he decides to show himself to the humans while the parade's going on. At least that's what Alice sees. So they're like rushing to get to Volterra to stop Edward from killing himself. Bella's the only one that can stop him because he can hear everybody else's thoughts except Bella's. She like runs up to him and pushes him out of the sun, and he thinks he's in heaven, but he's not because it's all real. He didn't believe in heaven, but then it kind of seems like he does when he hears Bella's voice. And then he realizes that it's real, and he's like, we gotta get out of here. But then the Volturi want to talk to him. And then Alice walks on up and is like, you guys still want to cause a scene, do you? Edward tries to get Bella to enjoy the rest of the parade, but the Volturi want to talk to her too. So then they go down these long tunnels and in the book, and then in the movie there's like an elevator. They all almost die because the leader of the Volturi Arrow tries to see if Bella's immune to all of their powers, because you have Jane, who gives you the illusion of pain. You have her brother, can't remember his name right now, who has the black smoke that makes you blind and you can't smell? Is it smell and sight? Or feeling? Something like that. Jane tries to do her illusion of pain on Bella, and Edward stops her. And then Felix is trying to kill Edward, and Bella's like, no, don't kill him, kill me. And Arrow's like, you would you would die for a soulless vampire like us or something like that. And then he goes to kill Bella, and then he doesn't, because Alice stops him and says that she's seen Bella become a vampire before. And so she shows Arrow. Arrow says, we're going to give you a second chance, even though we're not supposed to. The Volturi don't give second chances. They all don't die. At the end of the movie, Edward asks Bella to marry him. Edward's a dick for leaving her, but he doesn't want her to keep getting hurt because of him. AKA James, AKA Jasper, AKA Victoria, AKA Laurent. How is all of this going to happen throughout this whole movie? And then he's like, Bella, marry me. I don't get it. What? Jacob and Bella's relationship is... A lot of people don't like it. He's a child. They don't think with their heads. I don't know really what to say about that. I will say that when I was reading the book, it was really weird reading the book without Edward being in it. I'm gonna be honest with you. And I thought it was gonna be really boring, but it really wasn't that boring. But it's also really depressing. Like, multiple times it repeats how depressed Bella is. I think that's it. I hope this video was better than the first one, because, I mean, the first one wasn't bad, but I feel like I was really bad at explaining things. But I feel like I explained this one pretty well. That was New Moon, guys. We are done with the second book of this Twilight series, Countdown to Midnight Sun. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you love me, please subscribe. Again, let's go ahead and reach that goal of 500 subscribers by the end of the year. That would be amazing. Yeah. I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.